everybody, this is Kris. Welcome to the Weird Couch. So this is a new batch of videos that we're putting out, and unfortunately, that's going to be minus our third. But today, I want you guys to, if you're sitting by yourself, give a standing ovation to EQ.
You're on the show now.
Well, right now. So,
hey everybody, how's it going? EQ.
So the reason I'm here and we're kind of swapping roles today, and he made the mistake of handing me the big mic, is because, I wanted to not necessarily address, but I wanted to kind of put something out into the consciousness of the world. As far as the way that we kind of view things in our current world, is kind of the overlying theme of the show. So he and I and many others right now, we've been discussing, all things America. So I'm sure there's a lot of conversations similar to this going on in your homes or offices or gyms. So in this instance, a lot of people don't have the benefit of just being able to grab a veteran of a current or recent war and say, hey, I have a question about how you feel about something. So there's been something kind of on my mind, and I go, hey, I got two really good friends that are, guess what, Army veterans. I actually have several more, but two within my immediate vicinity. So like I said, unfortunately, Joe couldn't be with us today. But we got EQ here, and he's just a wealth of information, knowledge, and experience. So I'm going to ask him the tough questions.
Oh shit, tough questions now. Oh shit.
So we get settled in.
I set forward to be like, right there, but I think I'm going to have to sit back for this.
Yeah, it might be. Okay, I'm old. I got to help my knee up here. We're into springtime now, and there's going to be a lot more outdoor sports going on. A staple of the outdoor sporting experience typically is a tribute to the country, but more specifically, its association with our military. And so I want to make it clear that, I am absolutely grateful and awestruck by the sacrifices and effort that's put forth by the people that are out there serving. However, my observation, and again, I could be wrong, is that while we do a lot of appreciating, of in its entirety as a whole, I feel like a lot of times the stories of the individuals that have served, that have been through the sacrifice, kind of get lost in the idealized G.I. Joe, characterization of how people envision, a soldier. So I kind of want to know, how you feel about people being more than comfortable identifying and appreciating the military as a whole, yet don't care enough to ask a veteran about their experience and let them share their story. So I guess that's what I'm asking is, how do you feel about those two, different mindsets when considering the U.S. military?
Well, the first thing that I want to say to that is there is a way to do it and a way not to do it. Because there are some people who do ask veterans about their stories, they want to know, but the way that they approach it is fucked up. They're like, did you kill anybody? How fucking bad was it? Like, are we really over there for something? Or, did you kill are you a baby killer? Or like fucking, we're just over there for oil, right? Right? Like, that's what it's for, right? Like, it's a bombardment of, stupidity, basically.
Right, they're looking for you to reaffirm or to affirm their beliefs or their thoughts about it.
Yeah, and then not only, depending on who that person is, doesn't have to be a reporter for the news. They, go to their family and friends like, oh yeah, I talked to a real veteran and he said that they're definitely over there for oil. So yes, or whatever it is, and that's what they use as their fact base. And that's not saying that the military, individuals in the military are not a good source of information. But you have to understand, work for the United States government. And a good majority of people that are in the military they're not there to support they're not there. They didn't choose to join, I should say, because they're like, I want to support the president. It's like for me personally, I joined not for any large ideal, except for what I have friends like best friends my age joining, people I don't even know that are my age joining for something that we can't really fully comprehend because it's all compartmentalized. But my part is not to help the agenda of somebody. My part is to make sure that the guy on my left and the guy on my right get home. And that's all it ever was like for me in the beginning. And then deployment came, and it was, what, we can help people. So as far as what you were saying, sorry, that's a little bit of a tangent, but as far as you're saying, the celebratory viewpoint on the GI Joe status, like, look, honey, there's a guy in uniform. I'm pretty sure he went overseas and he was a hero. It's a bunch of bullshit. Like, I can't stand it, and I think anybody worth their weight in salt, who was a soldier, sailor, marine, or airman, even though we give each other shit, just if they get thanked or a meal bought for them or whatever the case may be, it's not. We don't see it as a form of gratitude of something of a genuine nature.
So to unpack that statement, I guess specifically, is it because they're not necessarily buying you, EQ, the the affected soldier, right, that did his duty, came home. They're not buying him a meal. They're buying their own self-idealized version of what they believe, or what we're conditioned to believe, of the image of a soldier. So they're buying it for the idea of a soldier, not necessarily the individual that actually served. Am I in the ballpark?
Yeah, definitely in the ballpark. They're buying their patriotism. So as a visual example, you need a pair of shoes to go running. You can buy any pair of shoes you want. There's probably some way better ones out there than name brand, but people spend the extra money on the name brand in order to look the part. And so I get it. Like my pops told me a while back, that I should accept people saying thank you and doing those things because they don't have an opportunity to go and join the military or to do their part as an American, and join all that stuff. And so their part is supporting of the troops, and that's by saying thank you for your service and all this other stuff. Now I get that I can't sit there and say every person that's ever said thank you is some jackass who's just trying to say, yeah, I talked to a veteran today. Like, there's definitely, I've had some genuine experiences, where people, come up to me and like I really thank you. Like, I lost my son last year, and it sucks, but I thank you for your service. Like those ones right there, like I do feel genuine because just knowing that they've lost their son or daughter, like it's impacted them on an individual level.
So I suppose that kind of, yeah, that really describes, I guess, what it is that I'm kind of asking about. Is it more important, or is it more meaningful, not only just to buy the meal or to thank you, but to exchange sentiments and exchange stories, yes, rather than give a hollow gesture of a $10 meal?
Yes, it definitely is, because I mean, veterans can buy their own meals, they can cook their own meals, they can survive on their own. We're trained to do it, right? So it definitely is, because and this might be a little bit of a tangent, and I'll try to keep it really short, and this is why I'm doing YouTube, is because it's therapy for me. Because people, they get sick and tired of hearing you say the same shit over and over again. And I think that's what it is on the larger scale, why people don't ask veterans, like, hey, you wanna grab a bite to eat together and tell me about like your experience? I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to get you to support my side or whatever. I want to hear, as you're a human and I'm a human. I want to hear your story. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't do that because it brings to light how fucked up the world could be. But that mentality is created by our media. Because honestly, you talk to a lot of even like combat veterans like myself, we have stories of that are good, helping people out. You know, I mean, granted, most of the time we talk about the fucked up shit. You know, but there's loads of shit that we did over there that we were helping another human being, another community build themselves back up. You know, and then you get those assholes who are like, yeah, but we pulled out and fucking, so you guys basically did nothing over there. So I was, you know, like, don't you feel stupid for joining? And it's like, no, I don't, you know, because they don't know my story, you know. And I think if more people, like, it's like going to help the homeless. Same difference. There doesn't have to be a homeless vet, but you go and, you know, somebody's like, yeah, I gave him $5 today. I did my part. I feel like a good human being. Instead of going, oh shit, it's cold as fuck outside, and even though I gave you $5, that's gonna buy you like a tiny meal, but you're also not wearing a jacket, and I didn't even think about that or whatever. It's like, you know, what's practical? Why are you doing it? Are you doing it for yourself? Or are you doing it for the person? You know, and that's the thank yous and the meals being bought. You know, veterans can see when they're doing it for themselves and not like, you know what, I am genuinely trying to do this for you because I'm seeing you have a hard time. Like you're sitting here drinking alone on a particular day or some shit like that. And instead of coming over like, hey man, I kind of noticed, it's none of my business, you know, this drink's on me if you want somebody to, you know, sit with you. I'm you know, I'm down or whatever. You know, because that doesn't always happen, and it's not expected either, you know, because a lot of veterans, we fly solo when it comes to that stuff. So, you know, we're used to it.
So then as a veteran, as a, you know, combat veteran, is it that you would like to see more of a human face lent to the narrative in the media, aside from, you know, kind of perpetualizing the G.I. Joe kind of, you know, because it's kind of like a blanket image, right?
Yeah.
Military or army person, everyone kind of has a similar, you know, image that comes to mind. So would you like to see more of a, you know, more of a story emphasis on the individual, like, you know, rather than, you know, displays of patriotism, you know, maybe some more interviews with people like yourself that have an opportunity to lend a human side of it? Or would that be kind of counterintuitive to the process of trying to incite patriotism? So what I'm saying is, with lifting the veil and kind of showing people the human side, you know, of people like yourself and others that we know that are close to us that have, you know, gone overseas, you know, and they've had negative experiences. You know, we've lost friends. We've nearly lost other friends, right?
Yeah.
You know, so does lifting the veil on those things kind of hurt the enthusiasm, or does that lend a human side to the narrative that is missing?
So, I'm glad you said the "or" part, because the YouTuber, the creative in me, says absolutely. I would love, and you know, I'm working towards it. We're working towards putting a face, a human story behind these struggles and things like that. But the veteran in me is like, nah, only because most veterans we can't stand the media, because like my personal experience is I was there in the middle of a mortar attack landed in Yaha. You guys can look it up online, October 10th, 2006, Fob Falcon. Mortar attack. We're watching the news live. It's supposed to be live. And the story that they put out, now granted, it could have been a disinformation story for the, you know, terrorists or whatever, but it was one of those things where like, it was seamless. The lie was seamless. They were like, oh, Bob Falcon is under attack, but it's okay because all the soldiers have been evacuated. Like, wait, so you want to tell the people that are attacking us that they didn't kill us, but you're basically saying, you just said we retreated like a bunch of punks. Like, I don't understand how that campaign is supposed to work, but that was my first experience with like how well the media just does not give the picture. But as a veteran, I kind of don't give a shit if the media has the picture, because we know, as you said, the opposite side, like the media is about like, let's raise patriotism, you know, and then by putting a human face to it, it might not raise patriotism in the way that they want it to, And it might be counterintuitive to whatever somebody's agenda is. But I would like to see more, maybe not in the like news media, but more YouTubers, more creatives, more channels like Awesomeness TV. They YouTube Red, right? They have all these like digital networks out there. I would like to see more veteran stuff on there. So like doing an interview, and you've got all these you got these popular Matt Best, man, that dude is funny as fuck, right? And people are like, oh, that's a typical veteran, right? Tattooed, talking shit, fucking chicks in bikinis, let's shoot fucking gun, blah 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 blah, and if you're a veteran or you subscribe to that stuff,
those guys,
yeah, basically if you subscribe to that, to him, that's your only viewpoint of what a veteran is. And if literally you see that and you're like, yep, all veterans are that kind of asshole, then you're a small-minded peon, and I don't give a shit about what you think because you have no idea, right? But they did him and Big Papi. They did an interview, one of those black and white interviews we were talking about, and it was a human piece. They weren't joking. They laughed or whatever, but there was tears, and they were talking about their time in together and like a buddy or two that they had lost and like that connection. It was only after I watched that video that I was like, I fucking love these dudes because I understand that what they put out on YouTube and all the funny stuff, that's their therapy.
So I guess to kind of like, point to counterpoint, right? While lifting the veil, for civilian eyes, might kind of stomp out the flame of patriotic enthusiasm a little bit, right? The burden of knowledge, things like this. But at the same time, for you yourself, seeing others express similar sentiments that you've experienced was therapeutic and made you feel more proud of your own service and having shared this, rare experience with others.
Yeah. Yes. And so I believe if civilians, no matter, you can have a civilian who has, like yourself, you have a great viewpoint into the world, but all veterans will tell you, I'm saying, because you have access to veterans, to combat veterans, and so you get the stories, and you have you have the ability to get the conceptual nature of whatever it is we're talking about, right? But even still, every veteran, especially every combat veteran, will tell you that I could literally show you video and do a play-by-play of everything I'm talking about, and you would still be miles off from fully understanding what it is. And so I do agree that there should be more of the human face. Like people, you get those homecoming videos, everybody loves a homecoming video, but I've never seen a homecoming video, like legitimate homecoming video of a dude who just got blown up. And like that the first part, the way that they edit it out is they show the picture, he's in the hospital and he's covered up, bandaged, and then the recovery process, like, oh, look at that, he survived, he made it. But you don't see that unless you're watching a movie.
Right, we're not honoring our losses.
Yeah, you're not honoring the losses because that's sad and that's depressing, and people, civilians mainly, cannot handle and process how depressing that can be. Only veterans, they look at it and it hits them here and it hits them here, but they know how to Charlie Mike. They know how to kick rocks and continue the mission. That's what Charlie Mike means, people. Like they can do that, whereas civilians are just like, well, that's fucked up. Why do I want to watch that? Where the fuck are the Kardashians or the fuck, like why would I want my day to be depressed? And that's why they avoid the human side of it, and they look at the blanket of patriotism that has been thrown over all the individuals that make up the military. So if you were to think of one giant American flag, right, and take everybody in the military and put it underneath that American flag, like that American flag was tossed over us, and you see the little lumps, the heads, the ridges, but nobody wants to peek underneath and go, hey, are you okay? They're like, look at that big ass American flag. Like the soldiers are holding up the American flag. That's fucking amazing. Whatever. Like I'm a gun guy, but I'm not a fucking, what people would say is, that backwoods hick that just wants to fucking shoot everything up, fucking, oh, look at the can fell, like whatever. Like I'm not that way, and I think people think that if we did that, it would be taking away the American flag, which, and by default would be taking away patriotism. I don't think it'd be that way. I think if we lifted the American flag and made it like backdrop, took patriotism and made it a backdrop to what the individual soldiers, are really doing, because not every soldier believes in this, that, or the other.
Right. So what you're saying, I think, is the actions that you guys are performing are kind of what's going to lend symbolism to the flag, rather than the flag lending symbolism to what you're doing in your purpose, right?
Exactly.
So I guess kind of I want to kind of unpack this a little further.